So the things to keep in mind is, one is to have the conversation. Be open enough to discuss and have the conversation. Be open enough to receive the conversation. And I also let brothers know, because they say, okay, have the conversation. Well, how do I start it? How can I do it? Listen, man, blame it on us. Blame it on us. Use what's called third party. It's third party.
You heard it, guys. Okay, you heard Coach Nadir. If you want to have a conversation about polygyny, you're not sure how to broach it with the wife, just blame Coach Nadir and Coach Nyla and Fatima. That's it. Okay, so for families who are currently thinking about growing the family, marrying again, for people who are in polygynous marriages right now, what would you say as a collective are some things to remember, whether from whoever's point of view, whether it's the man who's contemplating it, whether it's the wife who is seeing her husband or having a conversation with her husband about this, or the other woman who is, considering entering that family, or families who are, already in that situation? What are some things that they should remember, things to bear in mind?
Well, here's the thing. One of the reasons we formed and started OutstandingPersonalRelationships.com and our YouTube channel is to provide those resources that we didn't have. When we look to our spiritual leaders, whether it be the imams or different or everything else, they can tell us the fiqh of marriage. They can tell us the do this, do that type stuff, or what must be there, what must not. That's it. When it comes to the emotional maturation, we don't get that type of talk. We get some basic hadith, which do have wisdom, but you have to seek it out yourself. It's not something that's structured. Yeah. Okay. So one of the things is to understand that there are many different dynamics. So that's why, like, if a person goes to our YouTube channel, they'll see well over 100 videos coming from many different things that you're not really gonna find on YouTube that has billions of hours of video. Right? Yeah. You're gonna come across stuff like never seen it, never heard it talked about. Yeah. Just really on a different level. So one, understand that there are many different dynamics. Two, also understand that the man is the one who practices religion. Okay, he's the one who practices religion. Like, my wives don't practice religion. Yet we are part of a religious dynamic, but I'm the one who actually practices it. So the wisdom, they'll tell you shortly what's a mind, what some of their best stuff is I already know. But as a man, a couple of different things. One is that right now, a lot of the things you'll hear in society is so woman, female centric that your masculinity is now toxic. Being a man or being a leader or being assertive or being aggressive when time needs to be. It's like, we want you to just simply be a woman with a penis. That's not all right. That's not how we are. Men are different than women. You know what I'm saying? And a normal man with 10 times the testosterone level of women is a normal man. That's just normal. We have to understand what's real. So the things to keep in mind is, one is to have the conversation. Be open enough to discuss and have the conversation. Be open enough to receive the conversation. And I also let brothers know, because they say, okay, have the conversation. Well, how do I start it? How can I do it? Listen, man, blame it on us. Blame it on us. Use what's called third party. It's third party.
You heard it, guys. Okay, you heard Coach Nadir. If you want to have a conversation about polygyny, you're not sure how to broach it with the wife, just blame Coach Nadir and Coach Nyla and Fatima. That's it.
I came across this is real simple. Here's your line. I was scrolling on YouTube.
Script.
I saw this video of this couple. It was polygyny. What you think about that? I want to watch it with you. You sit back and like, whoa. What you think about that?
The sisters will tell us when we coach them. My husband showed me, he sent me a video. I'm like, girl, child.
Oh. Do you have like an onboarding playlist? Like these are the videos to watch to have the conversation.
He's not even home. He might be in traffic, just fire one off. And it's like, you talking about your life and you talking about me? Or whatever way we got to open up the conversation. Right. We do it. Shots fired at us.
You'll take it. It's okay. That's your job. That's your space. Alhamdulillah. Okay, so I hold on. I just want to dig a little bit deeper here, because I hear you on the kind of the female-centric current dynamic. And again, I think that the conversation in the public space amongst Muslims is very first wife centric, actually, very emotional and first wife centric. There's a narrative about polygyny that centers on the first wife's experience. And I know that from hearing men speak, it's almost as if there isn't clear conversation, an honest conversation about polygyny in terms of the benefits and the, well, I don't know what's the opposite of a benefit. I guess the costs, the benefits and costs. Okay. So, you know, what it will take from you and also what you will gain from it. Right. So there's, you know, the narrative about, yeah, get another one, bro. Yeah, innit? Yeah. It's kind of like locker room type of, it's kind of like locker room type of joshing type of, you know, like bigging you up. Yeah, the big man. But sometimes the conversation isn't actually a very honest conversation about, dude, this is actually going to take X, Y, and Z from you as the man. Do you think that there is that lack of kind of honest, look, let me lay it all out for you? Do you think that's happening, or is it just kind of what I'm seeing?
Well, here's the thing though. See, we're talking about polygyny as though it's some type of weird thing. Polygyny is simply a form of marriage. So similarly, if you're talking to someone who's single, never been married, clearly because they're single, then you're talking about monogamy. There can be some changes to your life. There can be some expectations. There can be some adjustments. There's gonna be some growth needed. And by the way, most of them fail, right? So are we saying, hey, are we having that same conversation with monogamy? Are men also leading the way and letting them know? They say, okay, cool. Go ahead, get hitched, do your thing, figure it out. Do the trial and error method. Because that's all that's really left for polygyny, right? So this shouldn't be restricted to polygyny. The challenge is this. If you're not only talking about marriage, you're trying to win and be good at marriage anyway, and monogamy obviously the first marriage. You should be good at that. All right, because you're good at that, other people are going to recognize that you may have other doors open to you should you want to practice polygyny. See, it's funny because women are like, okay, they're successful at that, or I'm going to roll the dice over here with this. You know, they're different options. But are men letting it know? Well, first of all, the most successful polygynous marriages that we are aware of keep things quiet. And they keep it quiet. They don't want to be ostracized. They don't need the outside pressure. They don't need to open the door for Shaitan to come in. We were considering that as well. Like, okay, cool. We're good. We're at a safe space. We're good now. Families going out we want to go. We, you know, overcome a lot of things, had a lot of growth. Do we go ahead and put out information that can help people kind of reverse engineer what we did with outstanding personal relationships and do that? Or do we just succeed quietly and do our thing like most successful polygynous couples? And we have to weigh the options. Okay, well, this could be beneficial knowledge that weighs heavy for us on your opinion. Right? And so, and the Prophet ﷺ also said that the best people are those who help the most people. And I'm like, you know what? We can actually do something right now with technology that our ancestors never had the ability to do.
True.
We can be around for our great grandchildren to see where they came from. Live, young, have a few gray hairs, they come in, but they can still see me decades, century or so after I'm gone, however that may be in a metaverse, in a hologram, whatever, I don't know. But I don't have that option. I don't even know who my great grandfather is. So we had to weigh those and we came to the decision, listen, let's write this book. Let's form this company. Let's help more people out. Let's give. And, you know, Wallahu khairan. Allah Ta'ala will take care. So are the conversations being had? Rarely. Are imams discussing it? Not much. And if Shaitan's number one need is to break up the family, what about the person that stands in the way of uniting the families? Is that somehow related to the same end goal that Shaitan has? Because our people, our leaders, is, oh, no, it's against the law here. Or I might practice it, but I'm not going to do it for somebody else, not the master. Or they put up these barriers for something Al-Hakim allows. And if marriage is half your deen, that doesn't mean monogamy is half your deen. It means marriage. And in Islam, there are two forms. And we should be teaching this polygyny just as we teach it over here with monogamy. We call it marriage. The problem is that we don't have the resources, so we chose to become that resource. You know, we have to invest a lot in ourselves to really get to that point. But the problem is I got a bone to pick. Y'all got a bone to pick with those who are supposed to be leaders of the community. How you gonna be a leader of the community, but you're mute on something that's half the deed? And people are complaining, women in particular, first wives in general. Well, I you know, polygamy's okay, but I support it when it's done right. You don't say I support marriage when it's done right. She doesn't ask me, and she said, you know, you want something to eat? As long as it's cooked right, yeah, it'd be a problem. But if we don't know where to go to learn how to do things right, how to increase our emotional intelligence, our financial IQ, how to be able to communicate more effectively, then we're at a loss. So no, the conversations are not being had. That's one of the reasons we're out. And that's one of the reasons we also talk more about polygyny than just traditional marriage. We talk about monogamy and basic relationship things. But the reason it's polygyny because it doesn't get its fair airplay.